You're listening to Podketeers.
Welcome to episode 442 of Podketeers. This week we talk about a TikToker that found a real-life Disney treasure. Magic Happens gets a return date. We might soon see a new character flying over the castle during fireworks. The Indiana Jones trailer drops, and the attraction announces a closure for refurb. We talk about how well Strange World did in the box office, and we talk about the new update for Disney Dreamlight Valley, which changes how we feel about the game and whether we recommend it. We'd love for you to join the conversation over on our social networks, including Instagram and Facebook, but we would love for you to join us over on Discord. Joining the community is super simple. Just head on over to podketeers.com/links and click on the Discord button to join the community. A very special thank you goes out to an awesome group of people known as the FGP Squad, our podcast Fairy Godparents, because it's their support via Patreon that help make these episodes of Podketeers possible. As part of the FGP Squad family, you get some additional perks like exclusive discount codes for Podketeers gear, additional content like the Podketeers After Show, and access to our happy hour calls, just to name a few. For information on how you can become part of the FGP Squad family, we invite you to check out podketeers.com/FGP. And as always, a super special thank you goes out to the FGP Squad for their continued support. All right, so it is time to get the ball rolling on this episode. If this is your first time hanging out with us, welcome. We hope that you enjoy the episode and that you come back for more. But of course, if you've been hanging with us for a while, welcome back, friends. Here is episode 442 of Podketeers. Let me ask you each a question.
Okay.
Let's suppose, well, actually, before, do either have an attic or a basement or anything like that?
No, I mean, there's a space between the ceiling and the roof, but
that's just like for air ducts and stuff, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fine. So I don't have those either, but let's suppose, for the sake of argument, that you lived in a home that, or let's say that you're cleaning out like a relative's home, and you happen to be going through like their attic, and all of a sudden you find all of these treasures of Disneyland, like memorabilia from like the 80s, late 70s, 80s, early 90s, from when they worked at Disneyland. I'm talking pins, pennants, marketing materials, old ticket books, just because the person in question happened to work in the Disney marketing department. And all of these items are in pristine condition. They're all well kept. There's even manuals on how to train new cast members. How would you feel if you found all of this?
I'd feel lied to, because how did I not know I had this relative?
Okay.
Or
That's a good one.
Or what their
so
job
let's say
was.
that you knew about the relative.
Okay.
Let's say you knew about them. Let's say you knew
Okay.
about their time at the park, but knew nothing about all of these treasures that were hidden in the attic. Like, it's just something that they accumulated over time while they worked for the company, but now you're helping them clean out, the attic and stuff. And so you find all of these treasures. How would you feel knowing you found all of this stuff?
So the only thing I could describe this is, let's go back to Aladdin. Let's go back to where Aladdin and Abu are going into the Cave of Wonders. And Abu is like, oh my gosh, there's that red shiny gem. It's right there. Like, that would be me. I would be like, oh my God, all these relics. I would probably go crazy.
Okay. All right.
And then it all comes crashing down. He's like,
Yep. Yep. Because I touched something.
treasure.
And something broke because I touched it.
You done did it now.
You did
Yep.
it, Melissa. But yeah, it would. I don't know how I'd feel. I'd be like, so I'm in your will, right? How much for this box? Can I just take this? I will proudly display the random manuals and things. It would make me very happy. But yeah, it would. I don't know how to feel. But what is the reason you bring this up, Heyzen?
To quote Elise Meyer, great question. I would love to tell you. So I was on TikTok, as you do at 3 a.m. when you can't sleep, and I saw a video from a user named Jessie Lynn Davis, and this is exactly what happened to her. She was cleaning out the attic of her grandfather's home, and she happened to see like all this merchandise from the time that he used to work at Disney. Like, she knew that he worked at Disney. She just didn't know that all of this stuff existed, right? There's boxes and boxes and boxes of like pristine condition items, like pennants, invites, old ticket books. There's there was like an old manual on how to train cast members. There's like all sorts of goodies. And I didn't know how to feel exactly about this, because there's a part of me that like would want to get everything evaluated just to see what it could possibly be worth. But then there's a part of me that wants to put it all on display, right? And just have it. You know, it's like those things are so hard to come by, you know, like you can go to auctions that Van Eaton Gallery has, and like we went to the one in like Sherman Oaks or something, right, Mel?
Correct.
That's from Disneyland. So we saw Richard Kraft's collection, you know, when it was for sale. Like that type of stuff in great condition is really hard to come by. You know, it goes from person to person. A lot of the stuff that these collectors had is because at one point nobody had the foresight to see or think like, oh, this is going to be worth a lot of money. And so they just say, toss it, it's trash. And so somebody that worked on it possibly said, oh, I'm going to keep this. You know, I worked really hard on it. And so that's how things get passed down. You know, they go up for sale at estate sales, up for auction. But there isn't a lot of merchandise from that time that's like sealed or in this like mint condition, so to speak. If you haven't seen the video, I will post the link on Discord for you to check it out. But man, listen, this is a treasure trove. Like, I get what you're saying, Mel. The whole Abu, like walking into the Cave of Wonders, like eyeballs on the gems, finding the Infinity Gauntlet inside the Cave of Wonders. Like,
Yep.
like it's there, right? Like, I don't know. I freaked out for her. I don't think she understands like how precious a lot of the stuff that she has is to Disney collectors. And I just hope that somebody doesn't try to con her out of the stuff that she has because she doesn't know enough about it. That's the impression that I got from the video, that she just doesn't really understand what she has on her hands. And like I've said before, collecting is worth whatever the collector wants to pay for it.
Right.
You know, I collect tons of playing cards, and there are some decks of cards that some people are willing to pay up to $2,000 for them because that's how badly they want them in their collection. Disney stuff is no different. You know, you might meet somebody that will see an old ticket book and they'll say, wow, that's worth a couple thousand to me. But there's others that will see that same ticket book and see pieces of paper and say, oh, that's a really cool piece of memorabilia, but I'll give you $50 for it, right? They're not trying to shortchange you. That's just what they're willing to pay for that piece of paper, right? So, again, I hope she finds somebody that can help her evaluate like a ballpark figure of how much this is worth, because, man, I saw some of this stuff and I was like, whew, it's like hitting the lottery almost. You know, it's the Disney lottery that you're hitting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this video and, you know, depending on, she had like basically brand new ticket books in there. And depending on what year they're from and et cetera, those can go for a lot of money just, you know, because of their ticket books. That's kind of like one of the big collectible things with the e-ticket, everything in there. So I'm hoping that she does some more videos. She should get in contact with the Walt Disney Archives or the Disney Archives, and see if they are interested in looking at these things, especially because they could have some history for the company. She could have stuff that the company doesn't even have, depending on how this stuff ended up. I would assume the later stuff maybe, but that might, that's probably a good place to start. Or I'm sure there's other places to go. Okay, call Richard Kraft. You'll probably know somebody.
Right? Call John Stamos.
Yes, Stamos.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, he was art director. That's what it was. Like, I was like going over that in my head. He didn't work in the marketing department. He was an art director. But yeah, I didn't even think about what you were saying right now, that she should get in contact with Disney because of the fact that they threw so many things away. They may not have this in the archive, So, I mean, as an art director, I'm sure that he had access to like unpublished items, like demos, drafts of things.
Yep.
Like, think of how much drafts of early Imagineering like concepts go, like sketches of attractions or, all that stuff. Like, I'm telling you, it's a treasure trove. It was a great video. I'll post it on Discord for you to check it out. But so good, really great stuff.
Yeah, but anybody out there that's worked at Disneyland in the, hey, Tony Baxter, do you want to adopt a couple Podketeers and then share your collection? That's like kind of the like that's the what I want to say, the I lost what I want to think. That's a big kahuna. That's the like big one. You got Tony Baxter's collection. That's going to be something to write home about for sure. So anybody or a contemporary of Tony Baxter, any Imagineer, you want to adopt a couple Podketeers and put us in your will, we'll be forever grateful.
Or if you need a little spring cleaning, you just need a little bit of help.
Yeah, we'll help.
Everyday cleaning.
We'll help. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not limited to Tony Baxter either.
Yeah, any
Tony, Tom Morris, Eddie Soto, like anyone that just happens to need the services of Podketeers cleaning,
Podketeers,
Disney memorabilia,
Imagineering
we'll make ourselves
organization,
available.
and cleaning crew. Does this concept art spark joy? If not, it goes into the private, the
donation
other
pile.
the collection. Yes, the Podketeer collection.
I like it. I like it a lot. All right. Well, there's a handful of things that we wanted to touch on in this episode, but this was just one of those random finds that just makes you feel good. It's like, that's Disney magic at its finest right there. But yeah, there's some stuff in the parks going on that we wanted to talk about. We wanted to touch on Strange Worlds opening again, but the biggest thing that we wanted to talk about was the changes to Disney Dreamlight Valley, because these are good changes. So we want to talk about that. So that's coming up a little bit later, but let's talk about the parks a little bit. Magic happens. We have a return date.
Does it?
It happens all the time, man.
No.
It looks like it's coming back on February 24th, 2023. That seems really close to the date that you originally speculated, Andrew.
Yeah, you know what? It just kind of makes sense where it falls. When we were talking about it before, it's after the holidays, after they kind of get everything taken down, and Mansion should be back up by then, and kind of getting back into the swing of things after the holidays. So that should give them time to once the holiday, the Christmas Fantasy Parade is done, they have to, they'll truck that back to whatever warehouse that lives in, and then truck the Magic Happens stuff over, and then they have to have some time to rehearse in the actual park, doing it along the parade route. So that's probably, about a month of rehearsal, depending on how that all shakes out. So yeah, pretty good guess on my part, just kind of based on what I heard, and but it's mostly just kind of like speculating on how calendars work and things, how the parks seem to work. So yeah, it's exciting to come back, because I haven't seen it yet. So hopefully I'll be able to go and see it after it returns, because I know nothing of this parade other than it's existed in Todrick Hall's part of it, and
I don't
that's
think
it.
any
That's
of
all I
us
know.
have seen it, right?
Nope.
Yeah. I mean, it opened like end of February, like last day of February, something like that. And then 3 days later, it closed because of the pandemic. So my wife and kids saw it, and she recorded it, and she said, hey, here, watch this. It's a great recording, but to this day, I still haven't seen the parade because I want to see it in person. But yeah, the bad thing is that the parade comes back after our passes expire. And given the fact that we just don't know what's going to happen with them, what the prices are going to be, if they're going to continue them or anything like that, as it stands right now, it looks like we may not be renewing. There's been these like windows and pockets where you've been able to renew certain passes at times, but it's kind of up in the air. I don't know what Bob Iger's going to do yet for the passes, and so because it's kind of still like up in the air, we just don't know where we stand, or if it's even going to be an option for us to renew. So we'll see. I guess we'll kind of wait and see what happens, and then I'll let you know in a few months, what's going to happen with our passes.
Only time will tell.
Only time will tell. But honestly, though, I mean, I've thought about this before. If we didn't have the opportunity to renew, and if we just went on a day that, like, tickets were on the lower side, even if we went a couple times a month, it would still be less expensive than paying for a monthly pass.
Yeah.
And because we're not going like 4, 5, 6 times a month anymore like we used to, it might still be okay. Like, we could just theoretically pay for tickets once or twice a month and still get to enjoy the parks. Obviously, we're not going to get AP discounts Magic Key discounts or anything like that. But, I mean, like you said, only time will tell. Let's see. We're getting really close to the 100-year celebration of the company. And one of the new fireworks shows that we know is coming to Disneyland is Wondrous Journeys. This was the very folksy song that we posted on Discord. It debuted at the D23 Expo. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because there's possibly a really cool new addition that's coming to the parks as part of this fireworks show. Mel, you sent us a picture in our text thread of this character. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you saw in this post?
Sure. So basically, there was a post that was on Reddit. There's a picture. Now, I'm going to try to describe the photo and the location. If you're on Big Thunder, I believe it's the main lift before the goat. So as you're going up, you get to see like different vantage points in the park. So if you were to look to your right, towards the castle, there's like some trees and stuff, right?
Okay.
So there is like a little area. There's probably like a little building, and I don't want to spoil the magic, but let's just say our favorite characters come out of that area. or they take a break between fireworks. Let's just say that. I'm like, how do I state this without stating?
You're being nice. I just want to say it.
I am.
Launch pad.
Okay, we'll say it. It's the launch pad.
It's
But
a Dumbo launch pad.
so in this photo, there is a character with red armor. Big character, red armor. Where have we seen this before?
Iron Man.
Hulkbuster.
True. That too. But you know what? Good guesses, because it does have to do with Marvel. And,
Okay.
sometimes we don't think, oh, yeah, we kind of forget. This is a Marvel character.
Red armor Marvel.
And this
Deadpool.
person looks
Yes,
like
definitely.
a marshmallow. Deadpool doesn't look like a
Marshmallows.
marshmallow.
Marshmallow. Homer as Deadpool. We did this already.
We did. I called it.
Anyway, red armor. Oh, I don't know who.
Baymax.
Yes.
Hey.
Baymax in his red armor being lifted, but I mean, not happening. But this person took a photo, and you can't deny it. You really can't. And I sent you guys a picture because I thought it was from a float.
Mhm.
And this is it's very similar to the Baymax float in Tokyo Disneyland's Dreaming Up Parade. So I thought it was like, oh, okay, I don't mind if this came from another park. It's Baymax. I don't care. I think it's awesome. There's no word of like where exactly that he comes into play during the fireworks, but to see this clip or see this picture, it's so cool. It's really, really cool. And if you're lucky while going up on that lift, you'll see things like that during fireworks. So keep an eye out, look to your right before you see the goat, and have fun.
Yeah. This is awesome. I mean, if this turns out to be true, it could have been that they were testing Baymax on the wire for the fireworks show. And Mel didn't want to ruin the magic on this one, but I'm okay with it on this. Like Andrew said, it's the launch pad for Tinkerbell, Dumbo, basically Zero, like anything that comes on that line.
Nemo.
During the
Buzz
fireworks show,
Lightyear.
this is basically the launch pad. So the fact that Baymax is attached to that wire, it does look like they were possibly testing, him for the show. It is a tie-in, obviously, because San Francisco is a new area that's coming to California Adventure. So it does make sense that they're adding like a Baymax section, or they're adding a Big Hero 6 section to help promote that. But it's just cool to see Baymax like suspended from the wire. And but I will never get tired of saying, "Show me the dragon" when it comes to Baymax. For those of you have not had an opportunity to read the comic book, Baymax in the comics turns into a dragon, and it's awesome. So if we ever got Baymax in dragon form, yeah, Pokeball time! Gotta catch 'em all.
Please don't throw Pokeballs at the castle.
I'm looking this up.
Yes, I meant that figuratively. But
It's like a big green dragon.
it's awesome, dude.
So I'm assuming we gotta assume that this is for the
Wondrous Journeys.
Wondrous Journeys
Yeah.
or something. Yeah, the Disney 100 fireworks show. So yeah, I mean, we'll have to see if Wondrous Journeys is if Journey is the whole theme. I'm guessing it is, but who knows? The fireworks usually start with a theme, and then it's like, all right, and now here's some movies, and we're just going to sing about a movie for a bit. So, I mean, most movies have a journey of some sort. So, who knows? Any other ideas on what would you want to see in this? What journeys would you want to see in Wondrous Journeys? Nighttime Spectacular, sponsored by Honda.
Is it sponsored by Honda?
I don't know. I just made that up. It usually is. I don't know.
I mean, I would think it's sponsored by Sylvania.
They were. I don't even know if they have a Disney sponsorship right now. Because I don't think they're on It's a Small World right now.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen a sponsor. I mean, I haven't been there or paid attention, when I last went, but there's a lot of photos that people post online, and I haven't seen like a sponsor or anything like that. So, were you asking us?
Yes, I'm asking.
Or was it like a question you were directing out to the audience?
Por qué no las dos?
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
All right.
Mel,
Did I
do
say
you
that
want
right? You know that commercial? The tacos?
Yeah.
Mel, do you want to go first?
I'm just gonna. I'll go first because I don't know what the direction this show is going. But if we're gonna have anything flying, I would love to see. And before I say this, yes, I understand. We see this in Fantasmic. I want to see Maleficent fly.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. And then just land on the castle and then blow fire. Just fire.
Yeah. This is a hard one because there's so many things that I feel like I would want to see fly over the castle, but I also feel that like Disney, like the company doesn't give those products like the credit they deserve or like the love it deserves. But if they came to me and they said, "Hey, what do you want to see fly over the castle?" I would want to see either the Moonwind as it appears in Soul, just because it's like so colorful. It's like it's this beautiful ship, like flying over the night sky, like this neon ship, psychedelic looking, like pirate ship looking thing. I think that would be super awesome over the castle. But if, like, honestly, if, like, it's probably, like, I don't know. I love the film, and we've been talking about it so much recently. Like, I had to revisit it, but since we've been talking about Strange World and all that stuff, but I would like to see the RLS Legacy from Treasure Planet flying over the castle. I still to this day don't think that the film gets enough love from Disney, but like I know we talk a lot about Tron like coming to Tomorrowland, but hey, there's another property that we can like throw into there, and that's Treasure Planet. I think it would fit really well. So, if we want to throw it in there,
I like that.
I'm for it.
Yeah, I didn't have an idea when I started this topic, so who knows? I mean, my original idea was, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that would fit, and even like just speculations. But what I would want, I always want Roger Rabbit, but it doesn't really make sense just a Roger Rabbit flying over the over the castle. That doesn't make too much sense. So let's see. What's a good flying thing? Who flies? I don't know. Peter Pan. No, that's not my answer. That's a bad answer. Peter Pan's a bad answer. I mean, Peter Pan can fly over the thing. I don't know. The mighty the Akron from Avatar. That's a Disney property now.
You lost me.
They can put.
You said Avatar, and I just shut down. I'm done.
They could put what's a thing I like? Let me here. Hold on. Let me look at this shelf of stuff that I got and see if I have any.
Chitty chitty like. Bang bang.
How about Indiana Jones and that blimp, and then he's dangling some Nazis over and they fall out of the blimp. There you go.
Okay.
And you see him and he goes, "No ticket."
Okay.
There you go. I don't know. I have shelves, and the shelves have Haunted Mansion, Roger Rabbit, and Indiana Jones, and then miscellany. I don't think we want Frasier and Niles flying over the castle, so I have bad ideas.
You know what, though?
How about the Muppets in a big flying contraption?
Oh, dude.
Oh,
that would be so amazing.
Gonzo going across.
Just like
hot air balloon.
It just looks like a hot air balloon. Uh-huh. That would be so good.
There we go. I finally came to a good idea. I started in a weird spot, but
I love it. I'm on board. Good. So while you were thinking about that, I was thinking about like other things that are flying, and so I'm thinking like like maybe those little UFOs from the Mater Tales, or when Galaxy's Edge opened, if you remember, they did like the TIE fighters like flying over, like that would be cool. And then I thought, wait, if this is like a celebration of the last 100 years, why don't they just put like one of the old school gondolas back in the air?
Just one gondola.
Disney World has the Skyliner. We don't have them at Disneyland. But if you just had a gondola flying like up in the air, like people
they should just
would
do.
lose
You know
it.
what? This is my pitch for the fireworks show now. Is they'll do like a section, like it's decades, and they just do from 1923 to 2023. They do, you got 10 decades, and that's each section. And they have a different fly thing for each section. So, like the earlies, it's like Mickey in a biplane or something.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know,
with
like,
Minnie and her
the
bloomers hanging
biplane.
out.
Yeah.
Yes, from Plane Crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you can get, like, in the 60s, you get, like, Mary Poppins is flying over, like, the castle. There's all, there are things, now that I'm remembering everything now that flies. So I think 10 flying things should be the new standard.
Yeah.
We need 10 per show.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy.
Maybe
peasy.
they
You
just
can
need a
totally
show
do
that's
it.
nothing
Yeah.
but flying things.
Just the bed knobs, the broomsticks, the bed
Yeah,
just is flying
the
around.
All
bed
the
flying in
flying
the background.
vehicles.
All the flying. You know what? You could
let's
supplement
see,
it with
yeah.
some drones in the background. You got yourself a good night show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can have Iron Man, like
All sorts of stuff.
Vehicle, not person,
for the
though.
early 2000s. Like you can do, I don't know what else flies.
I still want to go back to Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. That needs to be around
But
as
the
well.
problem is,
I agree.
don't think Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is a Disney movie.
What?
No, but I don't think it is. I think Dick Van Dyke's in it, but it is not. Let's see. I'm looking it up right now. Production companies.
I am concerned because there's
Warfield
many.
Productions Dramatic Features. Distributed by United Artists.
Yo, get out. I always thought it was a Disney film.
This is a topic because there's a lot of stuff in there that reminisces like
Well, that's
Robin
that's,
Hood and all these things. So it's like,
Yeah, Chitty
Huh?
Chitty Bang Bang is kind of, a mashup of like, it's got that bed knobs and broomsticks thing, I think is where that gets confused too. And it's got Dick Van Dyke in it, and it's in the same era as Mary Poppins, so that's, I think, where a lot of confusion
I'm gonna
is.
back out like
Dude,
Homer
this is
Simpson into
crazy.
the bushes. I got that wrong.
Also, Dick Van Dyke plays a character named Cactus, or what is that? What is this name? I'm trying to read this. Caradicus Potts. That's a name.
Wow,
Jeepers
I just got
creepers.
learned. Talk about a topic for Quizneyland. Did you know Chitty Chitty Bang
So
Bang
no
is
Chitty-
not
Right?
Disney?
Is
All right,
now you
forget
could be
it.
thinking of the Apple Dumpling Gang. They had a car
Yeah.
with Don Knotts. I don't think it flew. Dreamfinder. There you go. I found another thing.
Oh, what if we
In
had
the big
Figment
thingy.
just like trying really hard to fly over the castle?
There you go.
Aw.
Well, Dreamfinder has that like contraption thing. Like, what was that thing called?
Yeah, like a big old contraption thing.
Yeah,
Dream
it had a name.
machine jigger. I don't know.
Regardless of what it was
Something
called,
another.
I'm sure there would be some kind of beef.
Yeah,
with,
that
like,
thing.
Disney World people, because Figment and like Dreamfinder have like nothing to do with Disneyland. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Hattie.
The Dreamfinder thing is called the Dreammobile.
Ah, that's what it's
so
called.
very
yes.
original. There we go. Dreammobile.
All right. Well, now I want to toss it out to the listeners. If there's any
Yeah, do that.
vehicle or character that you would like to see, and Disney came to you and they were like, hey, you're making the choice of what the next character that's going to fly over the castle in the next fireworks show, who would it be? Join the conversation over on Discord. We'd love for you to join the community. Joining us over on Discord is super easy. Just head on over to podketeers.com/links. There you will find some of the most common links that we get questions about. But the invite to join us on Discord is also there. Plus, there's all sorts of other stuff that we end up talking about there as well. I think you will enjoy your time over on
And
Discord
they can
with
have
us.
a conversation over there, but if they're an FGP member, they can have a special section.
They can.
I think this is a good time to thank those sweet old cool cats. And
You know what?
kittens.
That's a great idea, Andrew. Let's take a moment to thank the members of the FGP Squad. What is the FGP Squad? Well, they are our podcast Fairy Godparents, and it's their support via Patreon that help make these episodes of Podketeers possible. If you want more info on how you can become part of the FGP Squad family, you can head on over to podketeers.com/FGP for more information. There you will find a list of some of our top contributors, some information on the FGP Squad, and a link to our Patreon. If you have any questions on how you can become part of the FGP Squad family, you please feel free to reach out to us on any of our social networks, including Facebook or Instagram, or you can join us on Discord and ask us there. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. But being a part of the FGP Squad family gets you some additional perks, like access to our happy hour calls. You get additional content that we occasionally post on Patreon. You also get discount codes for Podketeers gear. You're a part of random giveaways at times. Plus, over on Discord, you do have a special section specifically for the FGP Squad. So, again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. But we just want to send a huge thank you to the FGP Squad for their continued support. And FGP Squad, our next call for happy hour is scheduled for December 17th. More information is going to be coming on Discord and on Patreon, so keep an eye out for that. December 17th. We hope to see you there. It's been a while since we've had an opportunity to get together, and we miss you and hope to see you on this call.
Oh, at wheel time. Aha! I was not zoning out. It's time to spin the wheel. I don't pay attention. I just wait for you to say thank you for your support, and then I pay attention.
And then
again.
I threw it
It's
all
like a
off
trigger word.
by mentioning the call, right?
And then I could just sit there and zone out and then wait for that. I'm like, aha, okay, we're starting again. Anyway, wheel. I spun it really hard this time. That's all, folks. And it says, I forgot how to read. Megan. It says Megan. Hey, Megan. Thank you for being FGP. It was upside down. That's the problem. I wrote it backwards. So thank you, Megan, for being an FGP member. Cool cat, cool kitten, whatever floats your boat. You're real cool. Like let's see, what's cool? Like a nice fudge sickle on a hot summer day. That's Megan.
Can we do creamsicle? Because I like orange creamsicle. So I mean, can we just like
a nice cold any kind of sickle that is your preferred sickle? That is what Megan
All right,
is.
fair enough.
Just cool on a hot day. Your favorite sickle.
Nice.
Whether it's a icicle or a one of those sickles that you use to cut down. Yeah, or those like the thing that the Grim Reaper has. Sometimes those are called a sickle.
Yeah, but why would you even throw that in if we're dealing with orange creamsicle? Oh, wait.
Well,
maybe you want to cut it to share it with a friend, right?
Sure. Or
okay, yeah.
What, a bicycle?
Oh, a bicycle. Yeah. Tricycle.
You know what? Quadsicle.
Oh, those are fun.
Hey, unicycle. They don't say it like that.
Unicycle.
Anyway, unicycle. Anyway, off the sickle topic. Thank you, Megan, for supporting us on the FGP and all the other FGP members. Thank you. Go ride a bicycle while eating a popsicle. I don't know.
That's funny.
Unicycle.
All right. Let's continue our journey through the parks a little bit. Because the news that the Indiana Jones attraction was going to be closing down for refurbishment, it came up. It was kind of curious to me how it came up so soon after, like, the trailer for the new Indiana Jones film came out. So it's kind of a multi-part question for both of you as the resident Indiana Jones fans. But one, I want to hear your thoughts on the trailer. Two, do you think that the refurb is going to incorporate anything from the film, or do you think it's similar to all the other refurbs that we've seen? Or what would you like to see happen as part of this refurb?
It's funny how you question it. Excuse me. Okay, so first off, trailer. Much more exciting than 4, and I love it because it recaps everything in the original trilogy. I guess I'm going to say it like that. So we get hints of all 3 films into this to kind of give, I felt like Indy's last hurrah, his last adventure. Like, we're going to cap it all off. This is going to be it. And to see a familiar face already is like, yay, we get to see his friend come up again. We get to see Sala, so that is exciting. With the attraction, do I think anything's going to happen? No. Nothing major. I would be happy if anything gets brought back to working conditions, if that makes sense. I would say that if they were to go into refurb a little bit longer, maybe I'd be excited about, okay, something new is going to happen, or they may add something. I mean, who knows? I may be wrong too. So if they do, cool. But we've been down this path of refurb. It only works for a week. That's it. So
sometimes it doesn't even work when it comes back up.
True. That's why I'm not holding my breath on that.
Yeah, I would love to just it be in all the show scenes function. Not even all the show scenes that it originally had, just the ones that make the story make sense. Like, just make the tunnel work. And like that's the only thing that's the biggest thing. The tunnel doesn't work. Sometimes the snake doesn't work. But most of the time, everything else works pretty reliably because they've cut the doors, so it's just projection. So that works pretty reliably. Sometimes the first Indie animatronic isn't so hot. The bug projections half the time work or not with the headlights, but those are a new addition. So, yeah, just make the tunnel work and the ball work and the firework and would it be cool if they brought the falling ice stuff back? Yeah, that's not going to happen. Would it be cool if they put that big, like, smoke ring shooty thingy in like the other one has? Yeah, that's not going to happen. But as long as, like, it works. Oh, and bring back, while you're at it, bring back the eye on the globe parts of the Q video, please.
Yes, the safety spiels.
At least the full Solace spiel is back, but the eye on the globe stuff's not back yet.
Yeah.
So bring that back. Why don't you? So yeah, I don't think anything major is gonna happen. I do think that it's just kind of to tie into the movie, like, well, let's get it working since the movie is coming out in the summer. We should probably have this ride at least mostly working. Who knows? Maybe they'll do some weird promotional tie-in stuff with either, social media, videos, something like that, with either that and or the Stunt Spectacular at Walt Disney World. So it'll be interesting to see. That's like my favorite catchphrase. Interesting to see. Only time will tell. That I say those all the time, but
it's the truth.
Most of the thing, yes, I say yes, it is true. So it'd be cool if there is some tie into this film. I'm sure they're hesitant to do that because of the reception of 4. So they don't want to like jump the gun too much if the reception is not that great. Because 4 made a lot of money when it first came out, and then it got like a bad rap afterwards. Like, it still did very well in theaters, so it was not a flop. It was just like a reception flop. So this could do the same way. It's Indiana Jones. It's been friggin' 12 was it 10 years, 11 years? No,
It's
it's
been a
like
while.
no, it's been 14. I was still in high school when the other one was came out. So anyway, not terribly important, but yes, I am young compared to everybody else listening. There you go. You can guess my age, kind of. Anyway, I'm the baby. Anyways, the trailer. Sala is there. My man Sala. So he's back. Everybody. I say everybody. Andrew was hoping Sala would be back, and Sala's back. You can't really. The rest of the favorites have all sadly are no longer of the mortal coil, so they could not be in this film. I don't know. Do we know is what's her face?
Marion.
Marion.
She's not in it.
I don't think we have no word. Marion was in 4, so I don't know. So I'm excited. The trailer looks great. This what do we say? The de-aging of Harrison Ford is quite interesting. It looks very good in these
It does.
2 shots that are in the trailer. So if this is where this stuff is heading, that's fantastic. I'm curious to know if it was all Harrison Ford acting and they just de-aged him, or if they had a body double and they planted the face on.
Oh yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera. But I'm excited. It's takes place, in New York a bit, and something to do with space, I believe. So we will see. My favorite catchphrase, we will see. I should get that on a shirt.
We'll make a shirt for you.
But yeah, I'm very excited for any Indiana Jones stuff that will come out of this. And I hope the movie is good because I want to like it.
We'll make a We Shall See shirt, and we'll make a Only Time Will Tell shirt.
We shall see. Only time will tell. Yes.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, it looks exciting. I'm happy. It looks like they are slightly trying to separate themselves from 4. It looks, it doesn't completely. I guess I'm gonna have to see the film to see if they reference it. Like, I feel like every Indiana Jones movie has built on a previous one, but this one feels like almost like they're trying to erase 4 from even happening. So I guess once we watch it, we'll have a better understanding of it. As far as the attraction is concerned, you're right. As long as it functions more than a week and I get to enjoy some of that cool new stuff, because every time that's happened, I'm like, all right, cool, I'm going to get a chance to see it. And by the time I go see it, it's all broken again. So
Yep.
I don't think I've ever seen it fully functioning. It's just something I've always wanted to do. But hey, maybe they're going to add a Sala animatronic now. Maybe that's why they're closing it down.
I've been begging for a Sala animatronic. right in that dark hallway. Sala just pops out of the door like, "Hey, keep going that way." Like,
right?
Sala.
Confirmed.
My man Sala. Sala the series on Disney Plus. Young Sala. We've talked about this.
So I want to flip a little bit. Since you said that 4 actually did really well, let's talk about a film that hasn't done very well for Disney. I want to pivot away from Indiana Jones. Let's talk about Strange World for a second. I don't want to get into a huge conversation about it, but we did talk about how it felt like Disney wasn't really promoting it, and you have some numbers, don't you, Andrew, as far as how well or how not well it's been doing?
How well is the word here. Yeah, Strange World took a big old stinky plop there on the box office. That's for the minivans, kids there. 25 million domestic, worldwide total 43. It's been, the speculation budgets is somewhere between 140 and 180 million for the budget that they spent. Lost leader here with Strange World. I was going through some of the different markets that it's in, Romania, Portugal, United Kingdom, Mexico. Mexico made 1.3 million. Strange World did. Australia, 885,000. Let's see. India, a country with 1.3 billion people. It made a total of $46,690 in the biggest country in the world. So
Whoa.
that tells you some stuff, I guess. I don't think it tells you the quality of the movie per se. I think it tells you the marketing of this movie. The scores on Rotten Tomatoes seem to have settled. It's not rated fresh because that's like over a certain percentage. It's got 74% from critics, 66 audience. So it's kind of evened out. That's where it was sitting. It was going up and down when we were looking at it before, but it seems to have settled around there, which is fairly good. It's low for a Disney feature animated film. Probably the lowest. I'd have to look through everything. I don't know. Do they got Rotten Tomatoes for Home on the Range? But anyway, numbers are in. I'm looking it up right now. But yeah, I still haven't seen it, and I want to see it. I think from what I can tell, it seems to be a good movie, but they've done a horrible job of making me want to see this movie, and it's like interesting to know if that was the intent or not.
There's a lot of speculation as far as why the film did poorly. The biggest piece of conversation that's coming out of it is, part of the reason that Lightyear wasn't shown in certain parts of the world was because of the LGBTQ characters that were in the film. And the speculation for Strange World is pretty much the same thing, that because there is an LGBTQ character in it, that they decided to kind of just bury it the way that they did Lightyear. It's hard to say whether or not that's the case, but from people that have seen the film so far, I've heard pretty good things. I haven't heard that it's like the greatest film that Disney has ever, made out of any of them, but the conversations around it are basically that the film isn't bad. The film is actually pretty good, and it shouldn't have made that type of money. It should have made much more had there been more marketing behind the film. So that's really disappointing to hear. At these numbers, I think we talked about how it was possibly going to be on Disney Plus by mid to end of December. Well, we're in December now, and so I don't think it's going to be December. It'll probably be January unless we get some kind of surprise saying, hey, it's going to be on Disney Plus for Christmas or whatever. But it's sad. From what I've seen so far, it does look like a film that I would enjoy. Again, there's pieces of it that remind me of Treasure Planet, and I feel like it's getting the exact same treatment. So if that's the case, it's really disappointing. But regardless of whether I see it, we'll probably go to a drive-in if we do end up watching it. But if we end up watching it there, we end up watching it on Disney Plus, maybe it'll just develop some kind of following later on. But yeah. It's sad to know that it costs like somewhere between like 140 and 180 million to make, and it's not even breaking even. That's the horrible part.
Yeah, definitely. I did look up. I'm trying to see like compared to stuff. So Atlantis has a 49% on Rotten Tomatoes from critics and 54%. Let's see, Treasure Planet. It sits right around Treasure Planet, which has 69% from critics and 72% audience. So it's right around, rating-wise, it's a little higher than Treasure Planet, or right around the same as Treasure Planet. And then other films I looked up was Home on the Range, a 52% with critics and a 29% audience score.
Wow.
I also looked up everyone's favorite. Where did it go? I looked up Chicken Little, but that's not coming up anymore. So it was also bad. Chicken Little and Brother Bear were also bad. So yeah, still better than those. So I mean that if you liked, it seems like if you liked Treasure Planet and you liked Atlantis, or thought those were good quality movies, this seems to be at par with those at least.
Yeah. Well, like I said, regardless of where we end up watching it, there's a part of me that's excited to watch it. So I'll report back whenever I do get a chance to watch it, and we'll revisit this talk. I hope it's not as bad as the 54%, but I think I'm a little more open to films than what those scores tend to give it. I've been accused of just liking really bad movies, but I mean, the truth is, if a film connects with you, it's not bad, right? Everybody connects with things in different ways. And so if you happen to like something that other people don't like, don't let that, change how you feel about it or change how you feel about other products that are similar. Like what you like, just that. I think that's what we're going to get out of this, that regardless of how you feel about it, if you liked it, then you liked it. Just, it's cool. Don't worry about it.
Unless it's Home on the Range.
Unless it's Home on the Range or Home Sweet Home Alone. Those are just unacceptable.
Agent Cody Banks. Oh, I don't know.
Agent Cody Banks had some pretty fun parts to it.
This was just on the You May Like when I was on the Chicken Little page.
All right. Well, it's pretty sad, but let's transition to our final topic of the podcast, which is Disney Dreamlight Valley. We've been talking a lot about the big update that was coming. One of the last free updates I think we're going to get from Disney Dreamlight Valley. Again, in all of the promotional stuff, they've been really pushing one of the free updates for the game. So it looks like we are going to be charged for future doors, future biomes, future characters.
I don't know about that.
That's my speculation. I think there will be a nominal fee in order to open up new things. Maybe people that adopted the game pretty early on might get a handful of free ones, or we might get a discount or something. But at some point, I think we're going to get charged for those things. And, as long as it's not some exuberant amount, I'm okay with it. So there's a ton of new content and a lot of patches that came to the game. I was reading through the patch and update notes that they released. The new update is called The Missions in Uncharted Space. We speculated what it could possibly mean, whether or not we were going to see, Skull Rock open up and possibly bringing Peter Pan in. There was already talk of Toy Story being added. There is a new door in the castle that's got one of the aliens on the door. It's right next to Elsa's door. Costs you 7,000 Dreamlight to open it. I have not opened it yet. I did get an opportunity to play a little bit. I'm on a Switch, and the very first thing I want to say about this update is, wow, the game is so much smoother. Was that your experience going into this update?
Pretty much. That, and I have not experienced a crash yet, which is huge, because if you were to play like maybe more than an hour or even 30 minutes, like you would see the black screen of death and be like, you can't play. Try again. But yeah, it's so much smoother. You're practically running now, which is great. You're not just jogging very slowly to the next land or whatever. But yeah, the gameplay itself is actually much smoother than what it was before. So this is a really good update, except for some little things, but it's good.
The biggest thing I noticed, other than the stuff I already mentioned, was the time between like leaving a building and being outside, or leaving the realm. So I went in the Toy Story realm and came back, and it was like almost immediate. I was back in the castle. I'm like, oh, well, I'm usually like, it's such in the habit of like, I'll click it and then I'll like put it down and look at my phone for a second while it's taking its time to go out, and that doesn't happen anymore on the Switch. I don't know. We all play on a Switch, so I'm not sure how it is on Xbox and PC and et cetera, et cetera. But it is definitely a big improvement. They've really done the work and made it much smoother for the Switch.
Yeah. That has been one of the bottlenecks, I think, of people enjoying the game to its full potential. That one, it crashed, especially if you were on a Switch, right? I think PC and some of the consoles had better experiences than the Switch did. But one thing that I noticed is, I've talked about the 1,000 pumpkins that I have planted throughout my valley, and I have never been able to harvest all 1,000 without the game crashing. At some point, it always crashes during the harvesting of these pumpkins. So they made a couple of modifications to the game that are supposed to help with that. Like people with large gardens, it's supposed to do better at maintaining those large gardens. So I'm going to have to report back on that one, because when I played, my pumpkins were at a stage where I had to do the second watering and wait the 2 hours before they finally actually sprouted. Once I have an opportunity to harvest all of those, I'll let you know if it crashed. But yeah, I've never been able to get through harvesting all 1,000 without it crashing on me. That's one. Second, the watering of the pumpkins went super fast this time compared to what it's been before. Every time I would water, there was a 3 to 4 second delay before you could do the next watering. This one, immediately after, like doing the watering, as soon as the animation happened, you were able to do the next one. The other thing that this one I had read something on Reddit where, depending on whether you selected a male or female character, the female character was slower at a lot of the actions than the male characters were. So, for instance, if you were watering, if you were planting, if you were harvesting, the animation would take longer if you had the female version of the character inside of the game. And so I had tested this before updating the game. And I don't know if you know this, but if you go into where you can change the clothes and everything of the character, if you change the body type, you can change your character to one or the other, and it doesn't affect your game. Like you could just change it, and that way, you could play as whatever you want. Your name remains the same, but the character will change from one to the other. And so before I did the update, I purposely changed my character, and it did. The 3 to 4 second delay animation that it took for my character to do all those things was at least 6 seconds with the alternate version of my character. So It was definitely slower. There seemed to be like an additional animation that happened, the way that like the character would sweep her leg, to make it look like proper, like she's bending down to harvest and do that type of stuff. So the additional animation could have played into it, but it wasn't much different than my regular character was. I changed the character again after the update, and they're on par with each other now. They both run at the exact same speed. They both harvest, they both plant, they both water. So regardless of what body type you select or, what features you have, they both just work now. They're like, one isn't nerfed over the other one anymore, which is cool. Kristoff's cart has some additional stuff now. We're going to start seeing like iron ingots, gold ingots, and stuff like that. One thing I did notice when attempting to purchase from Kristoff's cart is, prior to the update, you could buy like 99 of the whatever he sold, like the snowballs, the rocks, the fabric, whatever. Mm-hmm. And there's a part of me that is sad that I didn't buy an entire chest full of all that stuff, because now you're limited to what he's selling on a daily basis. If he's got fabric, you can only buy like 3 of those, and then it disappears, and then you can't buy it again until the next day. If he's got like gold ingots, you can buy up to 3, and then it goes away, similar to like the plants or the fruits and the vegetables that Goofy sells on the carts, where you can only buy like 10 of the pre-grown ones and then they go away till the next day. Kristoff's cart is now similar, where you can buy more things than there used to be, but they're limited to anywhere from 3 to 10 on a daily basis per item, which I guess is fair. I'm not too concerned about that one. A lot of the stuff was like rocks and hardwood and like sand, so a lot of that stuff is pretty easy to come by. The iron ingots, gold ingots, having a limit of 3, I think, does give you an incentive to play on multiple days, and I think it will prolong gameplay for a lot of people, because having the 99 of everything on the single day can help you get through a lot of stuff super quickly. So putting a limit on those purchases, I think, is really a really good choice. There's some other things like being able to toggle night and day just so that you can enjoy the sunsets and sunrises. It doesn't affect your gameplay, but that's something that you can toggle. There's a new star path to celebrate the holidays, and along with the star path came a lot of new items, including like food, like gingerbread houses, Mickey cookies, like the ones that they sell in the parks. As a matter of fact, the Disneyland account, or the Disney Parks account, I believe, posted a photo of the cookies that inspired the ones inside of Dreamlight Valley, and like the Mickey cookies. You can make
these are like the Mickey gingerbread cookie.
It's a Mickey head. It's like the sugar cookie
Mickey
version.
Head cookie. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's something you can make inside of the game now. Again, the gingerbread houses. You can make hot cocoa. You can make boba, like boba drinks, fruitcake, Yule logs, Wonderland cookies, a couple of ice creams. They have new things that you can craft, including a tree of holiday cheer. So there's a lot of festive things in there now, like a holiday fest plate and cutlery, a festive chair, gifts. They have several gifts, like a delicious gift, a naughty gift, a shiny gift, a handcrafted gift. So there's a ton of stuff that you can do with that as well. And it looks like they also added a new gem. Onyx is now a gem that you can mine, I believe, inside of the Vitalis cave. And right when you start off, it's one of the new ingredients in 4 new potions that Merlin has made available to you, which I think is pretty cool. Mel, have you used the 4 potions yet?
I haven't used all of them. I've used one, and I used the one for the pickaxe. And that one was really cool because usually you don't get like crystals over at the plaza, and I was able to get like 3 both times. I mean, I did it twice. I don't remember, but I just remember getting multiple gems. So it's really, really cool. I haven't tried the other ones yet, but it's cool that you could craft those potions. I mean, granted, it'll take a while, but it's cool that you could go back and do that again. So
just think about how many pumpkins you can get.
Well,
pumpkins.
Kind of. So there's a catch to all of these potions, right? Like one of the new items, obviously the Onyx is one that you can use for the mining. For the fishing version of the potion, for your fishing rod, you have to use the new red algae, which wasn't available before. Each one of these is limited to a specific amount of times that you can use it. I believe it's anywhere from 3 to 10 for each one. I don't remember the exact numbers, but you can only use it 10 times. And I've used these potions before because you get it as part of the Scar quest. You get it because, oh man, I don't want to ruin the Scar thing, but there's a task in the Scar quest that requires you to use this potion to grow something. And it becomes part of something that you can craft. And both versions, like there's like a standard version and an even more like extreme version of it. I forgot what that one's called. And so for each of these, Merlin starts you off with the standard version of all of them. If you check the DIY recipes, it looks like we're going to get like the extreme version of each one of those as well at some point. We just don't have the recipes yet, or you haven't crafted them, so they don't show up for you. The extreme version requires like twice as many of whatever you needed for the original ones.
Yeah, because Merlin says, like, hey, maybe you discover, try something new, just make something up. So it seems like you can just, what I took from him saying that is, like, where you can, like, in the kitchen, you can just cook, like, you can just look up a recipe, but you could just, like, combine a bunch of stuff and figure out what, and then that makes a new recipe. I'm wondering if you can just combine a bunch of, I don't know if that's going to be a thing, but he's, like, he says something about try it yourself, or I don't remember the exact wording, but making it seem like you can figure out what those versions will be if you keep adding a bunch of stuff together.
Yeah, it's probably just adding more of the same things. If you take a look at the Wondrous Growth Potion or whatever it's called, it's just kind of the same items with like one additional, but more of the others. So if you experiment, that's the problem with this, right? That some of the things that it require a lot of, like the onyx, like you have to mine a lot of that. There's a lot of dreamlight also associated with making these. And so when I tested one of them with the pumpkins. And so I watered like 2 sections. And it immediately, my watering can immediately stopped glowing after watering a couple of times. And I thought to myself, but it says 10 uses. It's not 10 waterings, it's 10 pumpkins.
10 pumpkins.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so these, I think, are going to be exactly the same thing. It has nothing to do with using it 5 times. It's, well, I guess in the when it comes to the fishing rod, I guess that is the case, right? Because you're using it to catch 5 fish or whatever. But for anything that you're harvesting, it's just keep in mind that it's 10 of those items. It's not using it 10 actual times. Let's see. So new items. Scrooge's window finally had a new item for me after going weeks without anything in the window. I thought that was kind of cool. They fixed a lot of the issues with some of the characters. They finally added Minnie, and there was another character that didn't have a stage 10 gift and quest. But Minnie was one of them. Oh, and Wally. You can finally complete their level 10 friendship quests. So those had issues before. You can hang out with Ariel now, which was something that you couldn't do before. They added the ability to unlock an entire star path without progressing through it. You can, like, there's a few options to use additional moonstones to open those. They added socks to the clothing options. Like, now you can wear socks if you want. They promised a lot more stuff is going to be unlocked in the game, but I think a lot of it is also that people are going to be figuring it out as they play. They've added the ability to do things like turning off the lights when you leave a room. You can light certain fireplaces and turn them off so that they're not always on. They've added...
I had to go turn all my street lamps on because they were all off.
Nice.
Like, I could turn them on and off.
Nice. One thing that you mentioned, Mel, in our text thread was about the hardwood, or just collecting wood in general. So they've improved the distribution across all the biomes. So now the spawn rates are going to happen less frequently, but it's going to be more consistent with what should appear in that biome. So like Darkwood, for instance, will appear more frequently as it should in, the forest. What is it called?
Forest of Valor?
The spooky, burny green fireplace.
Forgotten Lands?
In the Forgotten Lands, yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's been a really great addition as well. Switching between the menus, You talked about leaving the Toy Story realm in between rooms and just switch, like going from one room to the other loads super fast now. Going into the menu to just like go through your items, to store it or drop it or whatever, going into the furniture mode, going into any like menu related stuff is just so much snappier than it used to be. So I know we got to a point where we had a lot of frustration, and we said we don't recommend the game right now because it's got a lot of bugs. It's got, a lot of frustration. It crashes all the time. I only played about 45 minutes, but again, I didn't do a lot of the stuff that I normally do. Like I didn't harvest my pumpkins, so I haven't played a full hour to notice whether or not it crashes. But so far, it looks super promising. It's such a better experience now if you're on a Switch that, once I play, by the next episode, I'll be able to give another update. I think the three of us had the same frustration, so we can all just compare notes on the next episode. But I want to say that if things continue at this rate, I can finally feel comfortable telling people again, yes, get the early access and start playing, just in case they do start charging for stuff and early access adopters somehow get a discount or whatever going into the actual release of the game in a few months. I believe it's in March 2023. So any other notes, any other comments, thoughts, or experiences with this new version of the game that you guys want to share?
Don't freak out when you see the Moana the quest where you have to hang out with her for an hour, and this is for the new event. It says to hang out with her for an hour. For me, I honestly thought 0 out of 60. I thought this was 60 hours. I was like, I can't do this.
60 minutes.
Yes. Don't freak out. And it goes by pretty fast. So, yeah, don't be like me.
Keep an eye out on the beaches for socks or something. There's some weird things hanging out on beaches on the beach. Supposedly that'll be leading to some fun stuff. I was able to open up the I went to the Toy Story realm. I welcomed both Buzz and Woody. And I did that in like 30 minutes from starting the game.
Oh, okay.
So it was like that's the first thing I did. I was like, I'm just gonna go here. What's new? Go to the castle. Do this real quick. And both their houses are there. I don't understand. I mean, I get it, but I don't understand Buzz's home of choice is an RV. So Buzz's famous RV that he drives around.
Traveled the U.S. with.
Yeah, exactly. All 50 states. He flew it to Hawaii.
It was the inspiration for a movie he made called Cars.
Oh, not the movie RV with Robin Williams.
The movie. Yes.
And then Woody has a carousel that's like Scrooge tells you it's dilapidated and it'll need to be upgraded eventually, but you don't have that option right away. So that's interesting as well. Yeah, it's not like the Goofy Stalls where it's just like upgrade. It was bring it and then you're gonna do it later. So the RV I get, it's like the RV from Toy Story 4, but still I don't get. Buzz should have a space house. Anyway, that's what I did. I played for like a half an hour this morning. Yeah, the cardboard rocket from the first movie.
The box.
I don't know. Yeah, a box.
I would even settle for a crane machine with all of the aliens.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll come as like something we can buy from Scrooge because that would be fun.
Maybe. Yeah.
So anyway, I played very shortly this morning. I updated it and did that real quick, but got to get back to it.
Very cool. Well, like I said, we'll talk about it next week and we'll give updates on whether or not we've seen any crashes, but so far, a lot of the bug fixes that seem to have come into the game for Ursula, a lot of the quest issues that people were having, a lot of the Switch lag that was happening seem to have been really well optimized. And, I have to hand it to the Disney Dreamlight Valley team on this, because there was a lot of the things that ended up happening in this update, as far as like switching clothes for characters and some of the new options that we're seeing. Those were all community driven. Like, those were all things that people voted on. They would put stuff on Twitter. I think they have their own Discord, all sorts of stuff. And a lot of that came from the community. So the fact that they've been really listening and they've been really implementing fixes, and they've been, granted that some of the Switch users got super frustrated that it took them so long to fix some of the stuff on Switch, they've done a really good job of listening to the things people were complaining about, the things people were frustrated with. If this continues past the full release of the game, this game, I feel, is going to be popular for a really long time. One of the biggest problems that happened with Animal Crossing is that it was super fun. There was a lot of updates, but at the 1 year-ish mark, the only big update that came to that game was the Happy Home Academy if you had a Switch Online subscription, or you decided to pay for the DLC to extend the game to give you some more gameplay out of it. But after that, they said, this is it. There's no more updates. The game is what the game is at this point. And unless you're hardcore about your villagers and repeating the same things over and over without any new additional things, that's part of the reason I think why a lot of people have moved away from playing Animal Crossing at this point, or Animal Crossing's New Horizons. This game has there's a lot of repetition in this game as well, but it's all going towards these star paths, or they're going towards new quests, and they're going towards new characters. And I think they've learned a little bit from the fact that when the game first launched, a lot of these things were so easy to get through that people were burning through the quest within a week or so. And they were basically done with the game at that point. And there was nothing else to do other than farm and do, that's where I landed, right? I finished pretty much everything in the game. I was a couple things away from finishing the Scar quest. And at that point, I just thought, I'm just going to farm pumpkins as many as possible. And then I gave myself that goal of making as many as possible because there was nothing else to do. I think they learned from that, and they're implementing new mechanics into the game that will spread out the things that you need to do. Like the thing that you mentioned about the socks and something being special, it's specifically stated in the dialogue of the game, this thing only happens every few days, which means that if you play today, you're probably not going to see it for another day or two. So you have to continue playing to look for what it's telling you to look for. That's kind of exciting because it does allow you to prolong the gameplay on something like this. So,
yeah.
Anything else before we wrap up, whether it's about the game or anything else that we talked about today?
I want to go to bed. It's late. Hey, everybody listening, we're recording and it's late.
It is late. So let's wrap it up. That's it. That's going to be it for this episode. If you have any comments, questions about anything that we talked about, join us over on Discord. Again, podketeers.com/links. That's where you will find a link to our Discord server. We'd love to have you as part of the community. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out. We'll be happy to answer them. But that's going to wrap it up for this week. So until next time, keep dreaming, keep moving forward, and always remember to pass on the magic. Have a fantastic week, everyone.
Bye.
See ya.
Part of the Podketeers Network.